Hello, everyone. I'm Ziaul Hukmanim. I'm a professor of shipping and logistics in Norway. And in this video, we are going to see an application of the discounted cash flow analysis in shipping investment decisions. Okay. So here we have two cases. So we are going to look into these two cases and we are going to find a solution for them. Which one is the best uh, for the ship owner to go for? So consider a ship owner who purchases a tanker for $45 million and is offered two different options by two oil companies, Big Petroleum and Super Oil Trading. So here we have the offer from Big Petroleum. It says it will charter the ship $14,000 per day for 7 years, trading 355 days a year. And at the end of the charter, the oil company guarantees to buy back the ship for $35 million. Super Oil Trading, it's a bit more complex. First, to fit the partner's need, the ship needs to be epoxy coated. The cargo tanks needs to be epoxy coated, which will cost about $3 million more, bringing the price to $48 million. However, they're willing to buy back the ship at the end of the charter period after 7 years for $45 million. And also, they want to escalate the daily charter rate by $2,000 each year from $12,000 per day in the year one to up to $24,000 per day in 2007. So here I have a template to work with this. First, we are going to work with option one, and then we are going to work with option two. In this kind of analysis, often we use this net present value calculation approach, where we also use something called discounting factor. The main idea of discounting factor is that a dollar today will not have the same value as a dollar next year. So next year, so let's say whatever I can buy with $1 today, I will be able to buy less with $1 next year. So that's the main idea. So the value of dollar goes down over time. Okay, so that's kind of the main idea of discounting factor. And basically, to find out how much it goes down, so normally we use this equation. We have the discount factor 1 divided by 1 plus k. You can think about k as a rate of return. And here on top of that, we would put the time. Okay, so we put t. So 1 plus k, 1 divided by 1 plus k to the power time. Okay, so that's how normally we calculate the discounting factor. So now, and then in the net present value calculation, so we initially start with the initial cash flow. That is the investment. So we have to deduct it. Okay, and plus for every year we will have 1 plus k to the power t, which is the discounting factor multiplied by the cash flow of that year. Okay, the money made in that year. So normally that's how we normally do the net present value calculation. Okay, so now let's have a look how we are going to operationalize it. So let's say for initial investment here from the data for Big Petroleum in option one, it's 45 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million comes with 6 zeros. The buyback price 35 million. Operating days, we have 355. Rate of return for now, let's just put 12%. Okay, we will discuss it later about all these numbers, but let's say our expected rate of return is 12%. So we put 0.012. Okay, so we put this number here. Again, you have to be careful with the Excel format you are using. For you, it might be comma or dot, so for decimals, so you have to make sure you use the right one. So the time charter per day is 18,000, right? So we have it fixed at 18,000. So we drag it down for 7 years. Then we have the cash flow. So basically this rate 18,000 is per day. So you basically divide this one multiplied with per day. And per day cell you have to fix. Again, here in my keyboard, I have to fix the number, the cell with the button F4 plus, no, I press Fn plus F4. So the dollar symbol comes in and it is fixed. Okay. Then I just drag it here. This is the amount we get. Okay. So here, one tricky thing is in the last year, our cash flow is not going to be only this. The last year, after the 7th year, our cash flow is also going to be this, plus the buyback price of 35 million. So this is also something we will get from the company, right? So we add it up. So our cash flow becomes much bigger in the last year, okay? Now for the discounting factor, let's say we start with the year 1. So for year 1, we are going to just put the equation like this. We have 1 divided by 1 plus k. We take the k from here. We have to fix the cell. And then to the power, I take this symbol here and I take the year. Okay. So this way, when we implement the equation, it will go all the way. Okay. Yeah, I can just write it like this. So from the year 0 to the year 1, already the value of a dollar reduces to, so $1 becomes $0.89. The value goes down, right? And if I drag it down up to this point, you see, so the value of the money we will get in the 7th year, if I bring back the value today, it's going to be only 45% of the money that I will get in the 7th year, okay? So it reduces significantly. So that's why if we are just happy with looking into this big number of 35 million, because 35 million today is not the same as 35 million 7 years later. You know, the value of this $35 million today that I will get after 7 years is only 45% of the $35 million. So let's say here let's see this in practice. So we basically multiply our cash flow with our discounting rate. That's it. And then we drag it down. So here you see, here it looks like $41.39 million. But the value of this $41 million, if we think about at this year, at the moment, at point 0, when we are making the decision, is actually only $18 million, right? So it is significantly lower than, you know, what we think we will get. So in real term, we will get 35 million, but the value of that today is only 35 million plus this 6.39 million, you know, the value of that 41.39 million is only 18.72 million today. So we are bringing back, by doing this analysis, discounted cash flow, we are bringing back the value of all the future cash flow. How much is the worth today when we are making the decision today? So then in net present value here, in the net present value analysis here, so basically what we can do is we can calculate the sum. So in my Norwegian keyboard, I have the summer. In English keyboard, it will be sum minus. So here we have all the cash flow minus the investment we are making today. You see, why are we bringing back all the value future cash flow today? That's because we have to compare with the money we're investing today, right? So that's why you have to bring back all the future cash flow value to today, okay? And then you get a negative value here. So that means considering today, considering these rates, considering this rate of return, your investment is actually not a positive cash flow making investment. Of course, if your expected rate of return is lower, it could have been a positive one, but we will see that later, okay? Now let's come to the second one. So here we have the situation, the second one. So we have, I hope, yeah, you can read the case here again. So here initial investment becomes $48 million. Buyback price, $45 million. Operating days, we assume the same is 355. Rate of return, for now, we start with the same one, okay? If the information about rate of return is given to you, you use that one. If not, yeah, you can kind of play with it. You know, you can start with 8%, 10%, and 12%, and then you can see how the results differ, right? For year one, it was a bit tricky, right? For the time charter rate, you get 12,000, and then you increase by 2,000 every year. So here we are going to now do this. I will select this one plus 2,000, and then I can just drag it, and then it becomes 24,000, right? So the cash flow is now this time charter rate multiply with the number of days, operating days. We fix the operating day cell. So to fix that, I have to press Fn and F4. I have the dollar symbol. I fix it. Then I just drag it up to the end. Again, for the last period, we'll also have to add the buyback price. So it will be a bigger number, right? We calculate the discounting factor. Again, the same idea, 1 divided by 1 plus the rate of return, power of k, which is the time. So year is 1. So here I have to fix only the rate cell. So I forgot to fix before. I fix it now. I press Fn and F4 in my keyboard. Again, find it out what works in your keyboard for fixing the cells. Then I just drag it down. So of course the value is same as here because we are considering the same interest, same rate of return. So if we consider the same rate of return, you will have the same discounting factor, right? And I recommend to use the same rate of return unless there is something very different in your financing approach and something like that, and you are expecting a different rate of return. But because we want to compare with apples and apples, so I recommend to have you the same rate of return. Now we calculate the discounting cash flow. We multiply our cash flow with the discounting factor. And then this is the value we get. So you see this 4.2 million next year, the value of that today is 3.8 million, right? We will get 53.5 million after 7 years. The value of that today is 24.20 million, right? So you see it goes down significantly. So here in the net present value, then what do? We take the sum of all these future cash flows. We take the sum of all these future cash flows minus we deduct our initial investment. So here we have a $64,000. So it's a positive net present value. Okay. So it's a positive net present value, and this one was negative. So from here, basically, we get this idea that, okay, the second one is actually a better option than the first one. Okay. So that's one of the first thing we get. Net present value normally is net present value of 0 is where you would normally reach the break even. Okay. And normally, so here you can actually now play with it. So if we make it like 0.10, then our numbers may be changing here. So it becomes 4 million, right? As you see, if I reduce our expected rate of return to 10%, this one becomes 4 million. If I do the same here, 0.10, this one also becomes 4.8 million. Still, this is the better option, right? So this is still the better option, and this is the one that you should maybe go for. So depending on your expected rate of return from the investment, actually, which ones you go for actually would change significantly. Now, your expected rate of return also depends on your cost of capital. So how much, so to invest this $45 million, where is the money coming from? And what is the money you are paying? If you're taking loan, if you're taking the money from equity and you're taking the money from loans, what is your average cost of capital there? So that's also a very important factor. So let's say if your average cost of capital is 8%, you would actually expect 10% at least, right? If your average cost of capital is, let's say, 6%, you would then expect maybe 8%. So we put 0.08, and then here also we put 0.08. Okay. So here you see still the second option is much better, and you are making $10 million from this investment. So this looks much better. But if your cost of capital is very high, already 10% or 8% and you want a rate of return of 12%, then here this is negative, so you're not making any money. And here you are making only $64,000. After doing all these operations and everything, do you only want to make $64,000 from 7 years of investment, considering the time value of money? Actually, no. So for a rate of return of 12%, I would not recommend any of these two investments. Okay. So I hope you find it interesting and you see the application of this net present value and discounting factor in shipping investment analysis. Good luck.